Welcome to the Author's Corner. We are super excited to be with you this morning. I have with me today Pastor Paulette Harper. I'm going to bring to take center stage with me Pastor Paulette Harper, Harper Ministries. I am so excited. This is the first interview for the Author's Corner, and I'm super excited. Just so you know, the Author's Corner, while you're waiting to write your story, someone else is waiting to be freed by your story. Stop holding back and start living victorious. Let your story be known to the world. And I have with me book writing coach, Pastor Paulette Harper, and we're going to talk about some amazing things that you could do with her. The topics, so what we've been doing, that's just to bring further, presence in regards to the Own It magazine and all those individuals and professionals and wonderful people who've been featured in the magazine. What we've been doing is bringing them to the forefront so that the world can really see and hear, take them off the pages and taking center stage and just owning it. And one of our main focus this month is about leading with vision. It's so important for us to lead with intent, with strategy, and with intent. And so, one of the things that you could do with leading with strategy and intent for all the authors. This is for the authors. This is a time and a platform by which we talk to those people who would like to write a book, thinking about sharing their story, need some tips and know-hows on how to go about that. And what better thing to do than to have the experts come on and share their wealth of knowledge and wisdom and ways that you can work with them. And Pastor Paulette is just that. And so, Pastor Paulette, just recently you talked about, taking your book on tour. And with everything that has happened over the past year and us becoming so virtual, my God, what a transition that had to be. What you had to really think as a book writing coach and doing book signings in person, you really had to think off the, off the fly to say, how are we going to transition? How are we going to still survive? And that's leading with vision, isn't that? How are we going to still survive in such trying and challenging times? And so share with us about that journey through this year, the virtual tours, and the stories of those and the success behind it.
Yeah, thank you, Marissa, for having me. You talk about leading with vision, and that is so important for an author. A lot of times authors just want to write a book, and then they don't put a strategy together on how they're going to reach an audience beyond their friends and their families, And so, when you really have a strategy for your book to reach other people, it's really about going outside the box. And so with the virtual book tours, because, people the last year and a half wasn't able to travel like they, wanted to. And even a lot of them had planned to do a lot of things that were on their calendars that got, canceled because of COVID. And when you can take your book virtually and you can reach, when you can take your book virtually and you can reach an audience that would even go beyond it, just, you're traveling, because even when you're traveling, there's only a certain number of people you're going to reach, but virtually is so unlimited. You're talking about people all over the world, versus, being in, say you're doing an event in Atlanta, you're reaching people just in that scope of, that city, virtually you are reaching people that it's just so unlimited, and so with a virtual book tour, it gives you another avenue where your book can be featured, talked about, read, promoted out by bloggers who have already created a platform for us as authors with visitors on their blogs. And so it is such a win-win opportunity. And for authors, one of the things that I know that they struggle with is marketing. They don't factor in the marketing piece of it, and you really have to factor that in because it has to be part of your strategy on reaching people. You can't have a book that you can't market. You can't write a book and no one knows that you have that you've written a book, and that your book, is a game, could be a game changer for people. It could just really help other people and whatnot. But if you don't, have a marketing plan that's going to push your book to readers beyond your immediate family and friends, then you have really defeated the purpose for you even writing your book. And so the virtual book tour, being online, it is amazing. I've been doing virtual book tours in this business right now, literary book tours, for years. And when I did my first one, I had no idea that it even existed, because I wasn't used to something, different other than the normal.
Right.
You do live book signings, you're going traveling here and there, you're setting up your vendor booth, which is really all good. But what happens, when you can't do that anymore, and COVID has been the stopping, pausing point for a lot of authors. So what do you do now? So
Right.
virtual book tour is definitely a way to get people to read your book, a way for you to just really get an online presence that is just so amazing, and so it's an added bonus for any author to do a virtual book tour, and with that, there's so many stories of success. One of the things that I
Hey,
do.
Robin. We gotta say hi, Robin. They're chiming in. They're loving it. This is
One of
awesome.
the things, okay, wonderful, wonderful. One of the things that I do when I'm talking to, authors about doing a virtual book tour is what is your reason? Because everybody has a different reason for doing one. And if it's all about sales, then I want you to just really think differently, because it's about exposure. And sales comes when when somebody trusts you. Sales comes when they know you. Sales comes when you have made yourself, made some, created some value for other people and whatnot. So it has to be about the exposure, because there are millions of books. If you think about it, there are millions of books out there. So what makes your book so different? What makes your book so different? And so it has to be about the exposure. So I try to get the authors to have to change their mindset about promoting their book, because if you go in there thinking about, I'm just want to make some sales, then you may be disappointed.
Yeah.
You may be disappointed. But if you go in saying, you know what, I'm going to get the maximum amount of exposure. I'm going to see what this virtual book tour is going to do, because I can tell you this, that there have been some of my authors who have, one of the things that one of my authors wanted to do, she wanted to, have her SEO, her name come to the front on when people Google her. And that was one of the things that happened for her. So she was happy about that.
Wow.
She was happy about that. And then some of my authors have been invited back to either some radio shows or some more blogs to do other, posts and features and stuff. So there is so many other opportunities other than just that one, stop that you do.
Right.
And so with the virtual book tours, you can have anywhere from 15 tour stops to 30 tour stops, so that is, other bloggers inviting you to come to their blog to showcase your book to their readers, to their audience, and in that showcase, you're talking about your book. It could be a Q&A. It could be your excerpts on your book. It could be, just an author interview. It could be a live interview. I mean, it's just unlimited what you can provide for the bloggers so that they can introduce your book to readers who you and I will probably never meet, because they're people from all over the world. And so there is this, it's a win-win for the reader, it's a win-win for the reader, for the blogger, and for the author.
Yes, it is. It is a win-win. It is. And when you think about that and you think about networking and impacting in exposure, what that does is that opens the door for greater opportunities. I always say to you, your book is your product. It's the door, it's the key that opens doors to other opportunities. What a lot of authors don't think about is the speaking aspect of it. You can also generate income from the speaking part of it. It's not always that you can generate, but it just depends on how sharp you are with presenting your message verbally. Are you in are you one that people get excited hearing you read the book? Another thing is go and read your book to other folks, so that they can hear the words coming out of your mouth, your story. There's so many opportunities. So you guys, I have Pastor Paulette's website up, Paulette Harper. That's correct, right, Paulette?
Yeah, they actually can go to Right Now Virtual Book Tours and look at my website, which is WNLbooktours.com. And on my website, it gives you reasons why you need to do a tour, what a tour is, how I service you, other tours that are on there as well. I mean, it is a plethora of information on my website. You cannot leave my website and still ask questions how you do a virtual book tour. Because I try to make it so easy for anybody to just come on there and get their questions answered, And then I offer 4 different packages, just depending on your budget and how much exposure you want to create. The thing about doing a virtual book tour is, your interviews and your guest posts that you do, they're evergreen. That means that you can recycle them. You can put them anywhere else, and so you can just use them over and over and over again. You don't have to keep recreating something that you've done and used and that you've created before. Just keep using it, so that it's about, you getting yourself out there and getting the exposure that you need, and it's an investment in yourself, but you're going to win in the process because, you have bloggers that are saying, yeah, I can feature you on my blog and I want to feature you on my blog, and these bloggers, they have thousands and thousands of visitors that come, and they absolutely love to promote authors, they just really love to do it, and so when I can connect your book with bloggers who say, yeah, I want to feature you on my blog, I want my readers and I want my visitors to know who you are, then that is an amazing opportunity for authors, and, with the authors, instead of traveling and dealing with, security and more money that you're spending out, and you don't know who's going to show up at your event, you can sit at the comfort of your own home and go blog to blog and see who has visited your post, see who has made a comment. You can interact with the readers and the visitors that come. So there's so many opportunities for you just sitting at your home virtually, And the thing about it is, when you do a virtual book tour, you're literally just allowing bloggers to work for you, So,
Yeah, it's a win-win. You can look at the cup half full or you can look at the cup half empty, whichever one you want to look at it. This pandemic really showed us that you could save money. Just like you said, you save money on the hall. Because I know my book signings, I had sit-down dinners. And so you save money on the hall. You save money on, the DJ. I had a DJ. I had all of that because I just wanted the event to be unlike anything else. Unlike anything else, I wanted the event. So I wanted to make sure that it was memorable, because sometimes you go to book signings and it's just you sign in and then that's it. No, you need to hear from the author. So these virtual tours and these kind of interviews always gives a voice to the individual, so that you can go in deeper to really see the story behind the story, right? Because there's always a story behind the story that they get to share. And so talk to us about some of the other projects you have going on. What about the anthologies you have?
Yeah. I just released an anthology on June the 15th called Resilience in Hard Times. And so it was an Amazon best-selling book in 4 different categories. And so the authors are still, of course, excited about that. They're still, making their way with, selling that book as well. I have another project that I'm working on with another group of our authors called For Such a Time as This, and that's going to be released on in November. And so we are just now in the editing phases of that, and so just really helping a lot of first-time authors get their feet wet, and just really for them to touch or to taste. I should say to taste what it's like to become an author, and then to cap it off, the possibility of them becoming bestsellers, And so the anthologies, I absolutely love doing them because it provides an author with the opportunity to just write one chapter. And it's not, that in itself is not as intimidating than writing an entire book, and so they get to write that one chapter. And so I've purposed to promote or to produce 2 anthologies a year, if not more, if I could. But right now I'm going to be, publishing 2 anthologies a year. And so the thing that I love about the anthologies is I love coaching these authors, and no matter if they've written 1 or 2 books before, there is always something that I can still drop in their spirits about their book, and about the process of becoming an author, and that's what I love to do, is the coaching aspect of it. And so anybody that, become part of any anthology that I do, you're going to get coached. You're going to get coached, because I want you to know what it is and what it means to, really become an author, and in that process, And so in probably in October, I'll be doing another interest call for the 2022 book that I'm going to be doing, and just getting those authors prepared for, 2022, and just doing that, So I'm excited about that one. That's going to be coming for next year, but November will be releasing For Such a Time as This, and the authors are so excited about it, And so, I've created some graphics for them to use in promoting. I try my best to teach them how to really market themselves, and get themselves out there. And so, with that comes with the graphics, that comes with me coaching you, that comes with, learning how to do pre-sales and stuff, So, we do some, live sessions monthly, and in those sessions, I'm teaching them what it is to really become an author, what is really required of them, the things that they can do, maybe some mistakes that I've made, I share with them, because I don't want them to make those same mistakes and whatnot, And so this one is so special to me because there are 4 men who are authors in this book. And so, yeah.
What time is this?
Yeah, there are 4 men who are authors for Such a Time as This, and this was amazing. I've always wanted to feature authors in my books, and so I have 4 this time. And so the stories are so powerful and so amazing because, women are always going to write. Women are always going to do anthologies.
Very expressive we are.
Yeah, but getting a man to share his story, it takes a little more pull. But you know what? They came, they stepped up, they wrote their stories. I can't wait for people to read these stories about resilience, about just steadfastness, about overcoming, about how God just pulled them through and just really spoke life into them. And they're doing some new and amazing things, and it's so amazing to see it and to read their stories, and the women that are sharing their stories of being transparent and just being, authentic about their trials and testings that they've gone through. They can really identify and connect with readers, So I'm looking forward to the launch in November with this book, So if you see and when you see these graphics go out about the book, make comments, support us,
Yes.
cheer us on as we launch our book in November.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, it's very important that in this, in the author's corner, that we're just not posting away, but that we're supporting each other, showing up for each other, especially when it comes to the pre-sales and the dropping. Many of these pre-sales is just the ebook anyway, so it's not very costly for you to really support. So support and help everyone get launched as the bestsellers in the different categories. That's what this is all about. It's really about showing up and supporting, because it takes a lot of courage. I remember I didn't have anthologies. I didn't have coaches like you running around, allowing you to be in their projects. When I wrote my first book, it was me writing the book. It was me writing the book, and I wrote it pretty much on my own. I did have a coach that looked at the original manuscript, but once I got her feedback, it wasn't too much different than what I had to say about my own self. And I had already paid her. She gave me her feedback and everything like that, and that was wonderful. But we didn't have access to coaches like you. And that was, I think I wrote my first book in, 2014. Okay. Going into 2015. And if you were out there, we weren't online enough.
Right.
To be able to have access at that level. So knowing the anxiety. So me going to my first book signing and having my book finally out there was just like, and my book is about personal, professional, business development. But I can't tell you about that, just like you said, without being transparent about my own life, my own trials, tribulations, my ups, my downs. I could not tell you with a level of authenticity and really hit home until I told you about myself. And so what I went through, so that I could show you that there is a way that you could go through too. I remember I was, oh my God. At first I was like, I wrote a book. And then I had to say, oh, wait a minute. They're going to read that book and judge me. They're going to read that book and I'm conservative. A lot of people think I share all of me, but you don't get all of me. Trust me.
Right. Exactly.
You don't get all of me. As much as you think you know what's going on, you don't. Because I've just never been that type of person. No, you put all of everything out there, what's necessary. And I also try to guard as best those people, whether they've done me right or wrong. I still try to guard them as best I can in my stories. But I could remember, I was like, oh my God, what have you done? Because this is a whole lot different from you just having a conversation with somebody. Now your life is in print, girl. And I had to really think about oh my God. So I had to go through that whole thing. And then I had someone ask me, was your book edited? And I was like, well, what does that mean? Was it edited? And we can assume that that's negative, but the flip side to that is someone's asking you because they just want to know how does this thing work? How does this whole process work? And so, to have a coach and to be able to go through an anthology as a novice writer is the best way to go, so that you have a support network and a support system that's there in place for you to help you, so that you can focus more on enjoying it, feeling the inadequacies or the the vulnerability that comes from sharing your story. We have to hear the stories, because it's in the stories that we see ourselves. It's in our story and seeing someone else's resiliency that transfers resiliencies to us and confidence to us. It's so important. These, and I'm so excited about the different projects. So this is the deal, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. Is this is the Author's Corner. This is a part of the Own It magazine. It's a section in the magazine where we showcase and shout out all about our authors, provide resources, know-how, tips, and Pastor Paulette didn't call it robbery to partner with me and become a contributing writer in the Own It magazine and one of our lead go-to people in the magazine to lead up the Author's Corner and to provide you with that wealth of knowledge and insight as to all your writing needs. And so be sure to connect with her. She also has a special offer that she's sending out to authors. Is it okay? I know I'm putting you on the spot to drop your offer in that you sent out to your people last night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think so. What did I do?
Yes. It has your
yes.
Your link. So this is an offer that Pastor Paulette is putting out to authors out there. She was specifically putting it to in her circle, and we're going to extend it out. Yeah. So you, if you respond to this, your author, even if you're looking to become an author, and would like to just subscribe to the magazine, you know, Pastor Paulette will get credit, but you want to also connect with Pastor Paulette so that you can know how you can get started with writing your own story or a story within one of her anthologies coming up. Get the conversation and the relationship started now. So that you could prepare. Any questions that you may have, please post them here. Don't count it robbery to connect with Pastor Paulette directly. Ask her questions. If you're not a friend already on Facebook, message her, get connected, follow her. And so and make it happen. Make it happen. It's such a liberation that comes from actually setting a goal, having a vision, as we say, leading with vision, having a vision for your life. One of the things that you want to do, becoming a author, you want to make sure that that happens. And the way that you make sure that that happens is you connect with those people who can make it possible for you. And to make it easy, you learn a lot. Pastor Paulette said she's going to show you how to do pre-sales. She's going to coach you in the writing process. What makes your writing intriguing, inviting, engaging, desirable to read? That's what she's going to do in her coaching. Then she's going to talk to you about, she's going to teach you all about the aspects of being published. And so that's, I mean, you're going to not just walk away handing off, because I've done anthologies too. I've been part of projects too, but I've been part of projects where you're really treated as an independent. You're just contributing to the body of work, and they're expecting you to know. They didn't do all of that coaching. You wrote your piece. You make sure your piece is edited and your piece to the project, which was fine, because I'm pretty sure this was at the birthing part of the anthology. So the methodology and the practices, when I probably contributed, they weren't all in place like they are today. Like I see you guys wheeling and dealing. You guys are doing the thing. I love all the banners, the promotional materials that come with it. All of that. So, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm just so excited to have you on our team. So she is one of our contributing writers, our subject matter experts, our go-to person for book writing and all things publishing, and just highly professional with a great standard of excellence. And that's what you want, because when you're associated with excellence, you're perceived and you're looked upon as being excellent. And so that's what you want to be in partnership with. And so, Pastor Paulette, I'm thankful. You got any closing statements you want to make, shout outs you want to make to the audience?
Yeah, I do. When opportunities come and they present themselves to you, never question, God, never even just give it a second thought. You have to just really seize the moment, and so here you have opportunities to get your questions answered. You have opportunities to be featured in a magazine. I mean, come on now, where you going to be featured in a magazine for a subscription of $35? I mean, it's a no-brainer. It really is. Get featured in that, and then, have an interview as well. And so that is one of the things that authors need to do, is just really invest in themselves. And that means, in magazine features, is about, doing a virtual book tour. You have to invest in yourself, and you bet on you. You
Yes.
know, you bet on you. When nobody else does that, you bet on yourself, you know. And so here you have opportunities to just really enhance who you are as an author, really get yourself out there and expose, get your online presence out there, you know, because if it's one thing to people know you offline, but
Yeah.
if they go to find you online, will they be able to find you? You know, what can they just put your name in and you are like page number 10 or 11? I can tell you this. I want you to do this. I want you to Google my name.
Me too.
Yes. Google our names and see what comes up, you know, because it's about work. But you're working on your craft, you're working on your own product, you know, this is your baby, you know. And
Yes.
I can tell you this, that nobody is going to do your product better than you. Okay.
Yes.
So, so yeah, so I just want to leave you with that. You know, just invest in yourself. And the thing that I know is we find ways to invest in other stuff. You know, we'll go get our nails done, our hair done, we go get our shoes and our purses. You know, we wear those things, and those things are going, you know, they're going to get old. You're going to want something new next week and whatnot, you know. But when you invest in yourself and you invest in your own book and your vision, you know what? You can't even put a price tag on that, you know. And so I just really encourage you to, you know, find the money because you can. You can
Yeah,
find
you can find the money. And
oh
then
yeah, it's there.
it's there. And the
Yeah,
reason
it
we
is.
do this for the authors is because literacy is at a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So people are not reading as they used to, and they need to, because
Yes.
the reading is where you get knowledge. The reading
Yeah.
is where you expand in knowledge. You see different perspectives, and you're not
Yeah.
narrow-minded. You become open-minded. And then you learn so much. So with our authors, I'm a 12-time self-published author. So I really have a heart for authors, and I know that it you got to do the work. When you have a
Yeah.
product or merchandise, it's different. People want to buy your merchandise right away. You have to get out there, and you really have to promote, just like Pastor Paulette said. You really got to do the work to get your message out there, to get your
Yeah.
book out there, to get seen, get visibility. So we offer this grace to our authors because we want to let you know that we appreciate and we value you, and we know that the work that you have to do in order to get that visibility, and we want to help you get there. And so
Yeah.
that's why we offer this special offer. You're not limited to the offer. If you want to go with the full page ad, you are more than welcome to do that. But we extend this because we want you to know that we want to shower you with some love, and we want you to know that you're appreciated and you're valued. So make sure you take advantage of the opportunity. It opens the door, like Pastor Paulette says, to so many others. And remember, the Own It platform has 13 other magazines that are under it. You make this connection, you make connection with those other magazines as well. And so we
Yeah.
want to make sure that you are aware that you're coming into a family fold. This is a family mindset where we want to care for you. We want to take care of you, and we want to promote you as best that we can. And so we are looking forward to featuring you. We're looking forward to you going on, seeing you on tour with Pastor Paulette, and in supporting you in the tour. And we want to hear about all the authors and what they're doing. So we're really excited to be here. Get used to us. We'll be here every week, giving you some kind of tips, some kind of insight, the latest news in writing, and any updates. And we're here to answer any questions you have. So do not hesitate to, in the Author's Corner or on this thread, to share any questions you have about writing, about publishing, getting yourself published, and all the opportunities and ways that you can increase your visibility, and also your income through being a published author. And so without further ado, there was one thing I wanted to share with you. Let me see if I can go back to it. Let me see if it'll take me back. So in closing, I want to say this, that if you would like to publish your story, your project, let Pastor Paulette help you to not only get started, but to complete it. and join the world of self-published authors. So make sure you visit Pastor Paulette's website. Get familiar with all the services that she has to offer, and also look for her in the Author's Corner as she posts away and gives you opportunities to connect with her and to learn from her, glean from her coaching, and look for her in the Own It magazine in the Author's Corner. We're so excited. Thank you so much, Pastor Paulette, for taking time out with us. Thank you, audience. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for all of your comments. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Thank you.